and welcome to the 114th episode of Redeeming the Time. I'm your host, Jake Wells. This is my dad and my co-host, Keith Wells. Thank you for listening to another episode. We've got a good one. We're going to continue, hopefully a good one. We're going to continue Revelation 20. We did the first 6 verses last week, but like we said, it was
there's a lot
we've
of content
got
there,
a millennium, in 6 verses, so it is what it is. Speaking of last week's fun little conversation, I exposed myself of how nerdy I was, but I saw who was just as nerdy. I kind of already knew, but we got a text from Dave Kane, and he said, in all of my years, I've never met somebody more nerdy than me about countries and states and flags and all that stuff.
Until now.
Yeah. So that was cool. And then, I've got a few people texted me, like, you are a nerd, which is fine. I know it. But, yeah. So, this is one of my favorite parts of the year because you start getting top 15, top 25 matchups in college basketball.
Yeah.
And when this drops, it will be March 2nd, which is about 2.5 weeks away from the greatest
sporting event of the nation, of the college year, of just sports year. Yeah.
So we're just gonna go.
Yeah, Purdue.
Too early prediction.
Purdue lost to Michigan State by 2 last night at home, and that was devastating. Michigan plays Illinois. It will have already been done. There's 3 more Big Ten games before the end of the season. So, yeah.
So, who are your favorites? Who do you think are
right now your top 5 are Duke, Arizona, Michigan, Iowa State, Houston, UConn. UConn is a sleeper this year, which is hard to say. Florida, Purdue. By the time this comes out, we won't be in the top 10 anymore. Gonzaga and Illinois. To me, the top 6 teams, maybe 7, are more dominant than any. The top 3 for sure are more dominant than any other. I mean, obviously they're top 3. I get it, but I mean, there's a tier. To me, there's a large gap between the top 3 or 4 and the rest of the pack.
Here's the thing, Arizona, I don't trust at all.
Yeah, they play all the.
I don't care.
All the out west teams. I would agree.
But they play Big 12 and they just beat Houston and all this stuff. But I would still pick Sampson. Is that his name?
Yeah.
I would pick him in the tournament.
Yeah, he's got the coaching experience.
Or not
Bill
sure. Self. The new guy that they have.
Duke,
I don't trust Arizona for anything.
Can the new guy at Duke win his first?
I mean, they went to the championship last year, so.
Oh man.
That Boozer.
Yeah, he's
Carlos Boozer's son, Cameron.
He's
a
the
beast.
Real deal. Yeah, he's taken over teams, taken over games. I'd say Michigan and Duke are definitely going to be in the Final Four. It would not surprise me, depending on how it hits, if Illinois was in the Final Four as well.
Again, I don't trust Illinois just as much as
yeah.
They've never done it. They've always been favorite. Oh, look, watch, they're the team. They're the team, just like Iowa State too. They're the team. They could do it. They could get all the way to the championship.
Yeah.
And they've never done it. They've never proven. And I can't. Houston, UConn, Florida, Duke, Michigan, they have done it, and they continue doing it.
Yeah. My team, I hate to say it, but if they make it to the Sweet 16 this year, I'm going to be a happy guy. They just can't seem to get 2 games together. So they play Ohio State still. Who else do they play? Wisconsin.
I mean, you got a gauntlet, yeah.
No, I mean, they should win both of those.
Wisconsin's not good this year.
They're okay, but yeah,
I
we're
mean,
not winning the Big Ten, that's for sure. So I don't know.
Who's winning it? Michigan.
Michigan.
Are they?
Michigan
well
has 2
ahead?
losses.
Are both of them Big Ten? They're 2 losses.
I don't know. Here I can.
No, they're 16-1.
Yeah.
Nebraska's 3 games behind. They've pretty much already won.
Yeah. Nebraska sort of fell off the.
I mean, Wisconsin's just behind you.
Yeah.
And
They sort of fell off, but I mean they're still good. They'll make probably the
be a
Sweet
10 seed.
16, but
Oh,
just depends. So we're boring people to death here. I'm saying Duke, Michigan, Final Four for sure, and then it wouldn't surprise me, any of those other ones would pop up in there, but for sure, I agree. Arizona is
They've never done it.
You never.
They've
know.
broken my heart.
Yeah.
I've had them winning. I've had them in the Final Four, and then they lose in the round of 32.
Yeah.
You can.
So I don't know who your picks are, but beyond that, until you see how they land on the bracket, it's sort of hard to tell.
Who's your one sleeper team?
Sleeper team?
Not with outside of the top 15. Who's your sleeper team?
Outside of the top.
UConn's not a sleeper team.
I don't think it's Miami.
No.
I'm sorry.
They've not beaten it.
They're playing Bob's Basement Baptist, type thing.
They're playing Western Michigan tonight.
Yeah.
10-18.
I don't know if do you consider St. John's a sleeper anymore? I mean,
they're 15th, outside the top 15.
Yeah. Oh, outside the top 15. Okay. Texas Tech's won some pretty big ones.
They've done it before with Jarrett Culver.
Yeah, I mean they've beaten Arizona and.
My team.
I'm going them. Texas Tech.
Tech.
That's not really a sleeper though. That's.
You picked number 16. I'm saying I would have said UNC, but I don't.
Oh, they'll do fine.
Mine is you're always wanting the guy, for one of.
Yeah.
You always have those teams that always do well have the guy, the one guy that just takes over. I forget what year it was. 2 guys. 2 years ago, there was that one small point guard that was taking over the scene with all of his crazy passes and threes and stuff. I think that's going to be AJ Bansta from BYU.
Okay.
I mean, they're 18, but no one thinks of BYU. But this guy, he's probably going to be number 1 overall because the guy from Kansas is being weird with his attitude and stuff. DeBansta looks like a Kevin Durant. He's 6'10", something around there, and he just does it all.
All right.
So typically, when you have a big guy, you're like, okay, he might do something, but you have to give him the ball. You have to get the ball to him for him to take over the game. That's why, Zach Edey, he struggled the last game because they couldn't get the ball to him. I think whatever. But when it's a guy that can create for himself like him, I think he's gonna
All right.
do good.
I'm not gonna make anything until the bracket comes out. You just don't know where they're gonna fall.
Yeah.
I mean, if they've got a tough road, Duke will.
I can't.
Duke once again will get the easiest route, even if they're not number 1. I mean, it's just, I don't know why.
I cannot bring myself to say that UConn's gonna win it all, but I have this weird feeling that they're gonna do it. I can't stand.
He drives me crazy.
He gets under my skin.
Yeah, he gets under everyone's skin.
He's a poor
loser and a poor winner.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just an all-around
great guy.
Yeah.
Love him to death.
Yeah. Thanks, Kyle.
I hope this is just me. We're probably going to be an 8 or 9 seed. That's just where we're probably going to end up. And so I hope they get a Kentucky.
You were supposed to know that.
I mean, come on. I hope we're an 8 or 9 seed and they get a number 1 seed and we beat them in the second round.
UConn, really?
Yeah, man, that
They'd
would
have
be
to
that would
just
just be amazing. Just
they'd
us
have to
beating them.
really show up.
I mean, we've beaten Tennessee twice. We've beaten Florida. Like, we've beaten the teams.
Yeah.
We just also lose to this low end SEC team.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts.
All right. Well, let's move on to something that people actually care about right now. They will care in a week when
They better care.
I just saw someone that showed they used a painter's tape and a wall like we're in the library that size, and they made a bracket on their wall for their family.
We might be doing that for
Oh, yeah?
for the youth. Yeah.
And then they got different color stickers for like round stickers for when their team won. They could put could put that they were still in.
Gotcha.
You couldn't do that. You'd need a million different colors.
No,
with
we
the
couldn't do
teams.
that.
But
A few years ago, we had a selection where you drew a random team.
Okay, that's fun.
You got a team that was 9 and above, and a team that was or 8 and below. So you could have the 8 and the 16 seed, or you could have the 1 and the 9 seed.
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna be doing that again.
All right, very cool. Well, let's get into it. Don't really want to here. This is the most sobering chapter in the Word of God, in my opinion, because this shows the end of man's opportunity, and really last week was, or the last 3 weeks, but this is, we head to eternity from here. We ended last week in verses 1 through 6. We had the judgment seat of Christ. We had then the millennial reign begin of Jesus Christ, and Satan was placed in the abyss for 1,000 years. He's bound for 1,000 years and shut up in the bottomless pit there. And now we get to verse 7, 8, and 9 and all of that. So understanding that first resurrection clarifies the whole millennial picture and structure. Christ returns, the first resurrection completed, as we talked about, and the millennial reign begins. So during the millennial reign, just to recap here, it's filled with resurrected saints, those that reign with Christ. So we're in our glorified body. We're eternal. It's also filled with people that were born, some that are followers of Christ, and some that aren't followers of Christ. So they survive the tribulation, or they're born during the millennial reign, and so they're in mortal bodies, and they're having kids, and they're getting married and all that kind of stuff. And the government is perfect because it's through Jesus Christ. It is by Jesus Christ, and this is the scenario. And we're going to see there's some rebellion that comes up during this time. So that's where we're at, the end of the millennial reign.
So 1,000 years go by, and when the 1,000 years were expired, do you want to?
Yeah, go ahead.
How far?
Let's go through 10.
And when the 1,000 years were expired, so from 6 to 7, 1,000 years. Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the 4 quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. And they went up on the breadth of the earth, and compassed the camp of the saints about in the beloved city. And fire came down from heaven And fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever.
Okay, so there's a lot in there. So Satan's released, a final rebellion, and then we go into a judgment that we'll talk about. So go ahead.
I don't know what you want to go into first, but the question that immediately came to my mind is, how would man still rebel after thousands of years, or 1,000 years, of Christ reigning in the perfect world? Like, how could man still rebel when Satan is loosed?
So that goes into the thought that, we're still sinful people, and there's still sinfulness in us. I had down why loose Satan after 1,000 years? If you put him in there, why again? Can we go that route first?
Sure.
Okay, just so I don't have to jumble up my notes a little bit. Sorry. So this sort of answers your question, though, I think, because this proves our sinfulness is incurable. Okay, these folks are in the perfect condition in the world. Apart from coming to Christ, they're in this perfect, 1,000 years of perfect government, and Satan has been completely removed, and yet they're still sinning. And beyond that, so resurrected saints are there too. We're in our resurrected body. We're in a sinless situation ourselves. So they're surrounded by this perfect government, ideal conditions. Every little dystopian movie that's been during your years growing up. I mean, it seems like every movie was that. It was either...
There was an 8-year stretch.
It was like Hunger Games, and then what was the other one?
Maze Runner, Divergent.
Divergent series. Yeah, they're all, these looking for the ideal condition. And yet human nature is still fallen. Those that are born during the millennial reign, they're still sinners. And yet they still rebel. The heart is deceitful above all things, desperately wicked. Who can know it?
Mankind will rebel from within, not as a product of the environment.
Correct. So, I think that's what we see. That was the answer to your question. And then also, they loose Satan. The Lord looses Satan because it shows he doesn't change. He doesn't repent. What's it say there in verse 7? And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations. So instantly, no hesitation or change in who he is. He's instantly going to try to deceive again. So this shows his character. And I think the last reason that he's loosed, well, more than last, but is no one can claim they didn't have an opportunity at this point. Okay, I was, this rule, this reign, it felt oppressive. Maybe they can't claim they didn't have an opportunity as well. So God's final judgment here is perfectly just. Yeah, if that answers that.
Yeah, because the people that are, so what you're saying, the ones that had the opportunity, they had the opportunity to either accept Christ or rebel. And like it says, people are going to rebel. But the reason why the choice is given is because God gives us free will. Is that what you're saying? So the people that are born in the 1,000-year reign, if Satan was not loose, they never had the choice to rebel or not to rebel.
Yeah, in a way, I don't know if I'd said it quite that way, but it's sort of, he's like the ringleader that allows them, those that feel oppressed, or those that feel like they're under the iron rule
Of Jesus.
of Jesus, that now they have a ringleader that is deceiving them. Hey, no, you can rebel against him. I mean, it instantly says he's deceiving, so he's misrepresenting Christ, is what, just like he has from the very beginning. And so it gives them a ringleader to go against him, if that makes sense. That's how I see it.
Yep.
So it says there then that in verse 9, no, in verse 8, I'm sorry, and shall go out to deceive the nations in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together. So who's this Gog and Magog?
I didn't study this as much.
All right. So this is...
I remember the names.
Yeah, so if you were to go to Ezekiel 38 and 39, we spoke about Gog and Magog there, and that was something that happened pre-tribulation, or right at the beginning of the tribulation, where there's this prophecy where basically Russia, the bear, and the Muslim nations would go against Israel. And this is that uses that same term of Gog and Magog. So what is this? Is this the Gog and Magog of Ezekiel 38 and 39? Well, there's a lot of different opinions on what this is, and we'll come back to that in just a minute. But we see there that he says he comes to deceive the nations. Well, the nations are these people. There's two groups of people that are living. There's the resurrected, glorified saints, and then there's the people that are natural or mortal bodies. Mortal is probably not, sounds like a weird word to use there. And these are they're in their natural body. They've married. They've grown. Apparently there's a lot of people that have been born, because it says they're as the sand of the sea. And that's just the people that are rebelling against God. So these are the descendants of people born during this time. And not all of them are going to follow Christ during this time. And they, even living under this perfect rule, they didn't have a devil to tempt them or anything, but yet they still don't believe in him. So I have here, many will give outward conformity, but there won't be any inward faith. And they basically obey because they have to. So even in the millennial reign, there will be sinners who will rebel in their hearts to comply outwardly. So so Satan's strategy here, verse 8, shall go out to deceive the nations, which are in the four quarters of the earth, which just means the whole earth. That's another reason why Gog and Magog probably doesn't mean the specific area that Ezekiel 38 and 39 is. So he's questioning the authority. So who are these people? Do you want to go into this?
Sure.
All right. There's some different opinions. I wrote down 3 or 4 of them. This is a very debated question. I'm just going to give you the views as I studied them. One view is it's just symbolic names for end-time rebels, people that rebel, because they're rebelling in a similar nature as what happened before against Israel, or against where Christ is reigning. So this isn't the same group of people as Ezekiel 38 and 39. It's just symbolically represents rebellious nations. Just as Ezekiel prophesied like a coalition against Israel. The pattern is similar, but the timing is different. Ezekiel 38 and 39 is the beginning of the tribulation. This is premillennial. So this is different. That's the first view. The second view, this one's interesting, is that maybe they are literal descendants of the people that survived through the tribulation and through the millennial reign, Gog and Magog. If you're watching this and it looks like he's about ready to pass out, he's been sick all week, so he's not bored.
No,
At least I hope you're not.
I'm not bored. My eyes are just playing
tricks.
Playing games.
So the second view is the literal descendants. So the nations repopulated during that millennial reign in that same region, and this is sort of like a second fulfillment of Ezekiel 38 and 39. To me, that's a little less likely, because they would have rebelled and been part of the against the Armageddon. At Armageddon, they would have been destroyed. That's my personal opinion. And then the third view is both, that it's both literal and symbolic. The rebels come from that region, maybe whoever just filled in that area, but it represents
The
all
region
nations.
of Russia?
Well, no,
The region being...
like the
region
Turkey area and all around that area. Gog and Magog is in that region.
So that's where the rebels go? Like that's their headquarters?
But it says from the 4 quarters, so that doesn't make any sense either. So the most common dispensational position that this is not the same event as Ezekiel 38 and 39, but the invasion occurs similar to how it did in the pre-tribulation, and this is like the final post-millennial tribulation. We know it's that. We know it's the final rebellion that occurs. Now, here's some differences I wrote down. So the differences in Ezekiel 38 and 39 and Revelation 20, verses 7 through 10. Ezekiel 38, 39, we know from this, based on what's the timeline there, because of where it is in the book of Revelation, and it talks about the events there, that's pre-tribulation, or at least early tribulation. This is right before... this is right after or at the end of the millennial reign. In Ezekiel 38 and 39, Israel was dwelling in peace prior to this, and this is Christ reigning in Jerusalem. There's divine intervention both times, so that is an agreement. But the big one, these are the two big ones. In Ezekiel 38 and 39, bodies are buried and weapons are burned up for 7 months or 7 years. It's just a long period of time. Where what we're going to read here, or what we already did read, is it's instant destruction. There's no cleanup mentioned or anything like that. Ezekiel 38, 39 led into the tribulation, where this leads into eternity. So there's a big difference there. So it says here as the number is as the sands of the sea. So the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. To me, that's shocking. That after 1,000 years of perfect rule, seeing righteousness demonstrated. As I say that, if you're seeing righteousness in front of you, perfection, and you have more than a proclivity for it, you have a desire to sin because of your sinful nature, a lot of people don't want to turn, and they want to rebel. And that's the nature of man. So I guess I shouldn't be shocked at that. But basically it tells us a countless multitude is going to rebel at this time.
How many people are going to be on the earth?
We're the sand of the sea.
And that's the people that rebel, right?
Well, think of it this way. When we did that math, right? When we talked about Israel's family of 70 people going down into Israel, and they were there less than 400 years, and they wound up being 2 million people. So this is 1,000 years.
Yeah, and then all the resurrected saints.
Yeah, but this is talking the rebels.
I know, but I'm just saying in general, the earth.
Yeah.
How many people are? We're going to be covering.
It could be 1 billion people again, easy.
1 billion?
In 1,000 years, sure.
Like 1 billion growth?
Yeah, sure.
I was thinking more than that. So how many
people?
They're all the resurrected saints.
Okay, you have all them, but I'm talking just the people that are born.
Billion. Yeah, that sounds right. But then,
Because there's more than 70. I mean, so there's probably thousands, if not millions, of people that lived through the tribulation that didn't take the mark, that haven't died yet, and then all the people that are born through them from all over the world. That's a lot of people.
I mean, yeah, I'm just now thinking about that. Because if everyone that has ever died as a Christian is back on the earth and they're...
Yes. Yeah.
I mean,
That's millions within itself.
If not a billion.
Yeah, but we're not even talking about them. We're just talking about...
I know, I'm just thinking of the earth
in general.
In general.
We have 8 billion people on the planet now. 8 plus.
Somewhere.
Yeah, more than that.
Are we over 8?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I thought we were at 7.
No, it's over 8. So, I have throughout my notes over and over again, outward conformity does not equal inward faith. And that's what we're seeing here. In this population explosion, there's a massive amount of people in their sinfulness. And, it proves over and over that we can't work our way. We can be outwardly conformed. I don't know what happens. Does God reestablish schools? And, they have to learn. They have to be, but yet, education doesn't cure sin. Obviously our environment doesn't cure. This is really revealing of the heart of man.
Yes.
Because, you have the perfect example, yet that doesn't cure sin. The example of Jesus Christ doesn't they have the opportunity to watch Jesus Christ rule and reign, and that doesn't, and even the removal of Satan, him as a temptation, our own temptations take over. Only a new birth in Jesus Christ. A new heart also will I give you. A new spirit will I put within you. Ezekiel says 36:26, and I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and will give you a heart of flesh. Except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God.
So that, yeah, I was thinking about what we blame when we sin, or when we fall, like whenever we make a mistake in the smallest things and to the biggest things. Our first tendency is to blame the environment that we're in, or the situation, or, well, if I only had this, or if I had more money, or if I had all these different things. This shows us you have everything you would need here, and yet
we are without excuse.
Yeah. The excuses are...
All right, we better move on, right? Because we still got a lot to do there. So they surround Jerusalem. He convinces them that they're going to... What are they going to do? You've got millions of saints that are eternal. God himself, God the Son, Jesus Christ is there, and they surround the city. They have zero chance. But their pride, and Satan still is reveling in the fact that he is taking some away from the Creator.
It's delusional arrogance.
Yeah. And fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them.
The battle is over before it ever began.
Yeah. Instant defeat.
I kind of, in the movie brain that I have, I kind of see the beloved city, Jerusalem, the new, and how they're just going about regular life, and Satan's out there with his army thinking, yeah, we're going to take him, and no.
Did something happen?
Whoa, why is it hotter?
Oh, my goodness. So,
I mean, it just, this is the end, the final end to this back and forth business that Satan thinks that he has, and showing the ultimate power and judgment of the fools that rebelled against God. They have no power within what they're trying to do.
And that truly is the end of time, right there. Time
on earth.
Well, just, in my opinion, time. The concept of time ends at this point.
Okay. Because eternity, okay. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Which is like, what?
Yeah, I don't want to go
Yeah, I don't want to go there. So, verse 10 is very interesting. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. So there's.
So this is what we think of when we say hell, right? Typically, it's actually the lake of fire. When
when you think of eternity,
we say hell, but it's actually
right?
the lake of fire.
Yeah. When we say hell, that is there is a temporary holding place, and there is the eternal holding place.
Yeah.
And hell, the term hell most of the time is that temporary. Lake of fire is the eternal place. And there's some crucial things that we see from this. One is that the lake of fire is not annihilation, where you just cease to exist.
You emphasize the word "are."
Yeah.
Where the beast and the false prophet are.
Yes, that word is key.
Yeah.
They haven't ceased to exist. And how long ago were they put in there?
1,000 years.
1,000 years. So 1,000 years, and they still are there. So
yeah, and this is a literal punishment. This is a literal holding place and eternal, because it's
correct.
Because day and night and forever and ever. Those two phrases are used when it is talking about a literal day or a literal place, if that or or timing aspect.
Tormented day and night. Yeah. So they're not annihilated. There is consciousness. They do feel it. This also goes against universalism as we get into this, because not everyone is saved. We're going to see very specific. And for those of our friends that have grown up under the Catholic faith, there is no purgatory. You don't see that anywhere in the Word of God. There's no second chances, purification process. I don't say that cruelly. It's just, it's not there. It is an immediate, eternal judgment that we see here. So, anything else up through 10? All right, let's read 11 through 15.
Okay. And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were opened, and another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books according to their works. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them, and they were judged every man according to their works. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. So to clarify what I was saying with the hell thing, it's a lot, I don't know, it's a lot easier to, I mean, if we died today and we didn't know, we would be going to hell. But I guess growing up, I had this idea that that's the eternal.
Yeah, that concept's not articulated very often. Well, it's confusing for one thing.
No, you're going to the lake, you're going to the lake of fire for eternity. Well, what is the lake of fire? As a kid, you're not gonna.
Yeah, you're not gonna make that distinction.
Hell is the.
Well, because it doesn't. To articulate that really doesn't make much difference, because you're not going to leave one. If you've entered one, you're going to.
Yeah, as it says.
You've gone to the temporary location. You're going to be in eternal.
Yeah.
I'm just. Death and hell were cast into the lake of fire.
So going into this, I have these terms that I'm defining as I'm studying this, that I've always thought I understood, but reading that, it's finally coming together.
Yeah, I remember this. The first time I really put it together, I was reading the Bible Explorer Guide by Dr. John Phillips, which if you don't have it, it's like a $15 book worth every penny. It shows you how to study the Bible in different ways. Excellent book. And I remember that. I was like, oh, this is making sense now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, we come to the final judgment of God.
The great white throne.
The great white throne judgment. This is not the last judgment that we were talking about, the judgment seat of Christ, which we spent a lot of time on last week. This is. Go ahead.
So Christians do not
Right.
appear here.
Correct. I lost a page. Where did my page 8 go? Go ahead.
Yeah, I had the question. I mean, I talked about it last week, but I had the question: do Christians appear before this throne? That whole thing, but
I don't believe they do.
We went over that last week.
Yeah.
We don't need to.
So, this is the second resurrection. The wicked and the dead are raised, and it is the final judgment for all unbelievers, and eternity rests after this. So, in dispensational thought, this is not the judgment of believers. This is the judgment of non-believers. You'll hear the judgment seat of Christ called the Bema seat. That was something that we talked about last time. That's not this. But this is the final judgment of the lost.
And this is God sitting on it, on the throne.
So you have. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
That's interesting. So white represents holiness, purity, that type of thing. I've got way too much here today. The throne, the authority, the royalty, all of that. So who's the judge? This is...
I saw it's...
Go ahead.
Amazing.
What did you see in your research on that?
I saw some people say that it's just Jesus, but that doesn't make the most sense to me, because it says from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away. That doesn't really... I mean, they did rebel against him, but that they didn't rebel against his face. I also saw the triune God, where it's finally you see the Trinity. But the one that makes the most sense to me is that it's God, because nobody is
God the Father.
God the Father.
Okay.
Because no one has seen his face, and this is the last.
Okay.
This is the last time.
Okay, so
last opportunity.
So
I guess.
let me
play devil's advocate.
Yeah, I didn't want to use that term. John 5 says, verse 22 and 27, "For the Father judgeth no man, but hath committed all judgment unto the Son, and hath given him authority to execute judgment also." Also, there's a word there, because he is the Son of Man. Acts, it says, Acts 17:31, because he hath appointed a day in which he will judge the world in righteousness, both by a man whom he hath ordained, wherefore he hath given assurance unto all men, in that he hath raised him from the dead. So that would lean both ways. 2 Timothy 4:1, "I charge thee therefore before God and the Lord Jesus Christ, who shall judge the quick and the dead at his appearing and his kingdom." So
what are you saying? What is your belief?
To me, it sounds more the triune God. That last one, so he shall judge the quick and the dead at the appearing and at his appearing and his kingdom. So that would be judgment seat of Christ, it sounds like. So yeah. God the Father makes in my brain would make the most sense, but as you read scripture that talks about it, it looks like it would be a combination. It would be the triune God. I'm not going to spend much time on that, but
I mean, I could see that.
Let us know your opinion on that.
My original thought.
Earl's going to send me an entire article on this because he's going to say you're wrong.
So what I was saying, from whose face the earth and heaven fled away. Mm-hmm. I mean, they did flee from Jesus as they rebelled. They did, his face in the gospel presentation. You also have the people that had fled God before Jesus, So that
Yeah.
makes sense. And then you have the Holy Spirit where you feel the knock and they decline it. I mean, I could see that. I don't
Okay.
know. I guess that's more.
Doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it doesn't
It's going to
matter.
happen. So, verse 12, I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God. So who are these dead? This is the second resurrection. This is the key. Look back to verse 5. I saw the dead and small and great stand before God. Who are these people? And look at, this was pre-millennial. But the rest of the dead live not again until the 1,000 years were finished. That's who this is. All right? The rest of the dead. That's everyone who died without faith in Jesus Christ through all ages. These are the people that died pre-flood, from Adam to Noah. These are Old Testament non-believers, New Testament rejectors, church age, tribulation, unbelievers, people that rebelled during the millennium, everyone. Everyone small and great. No favoritism. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter your wealth, your power, your fame, your obscurity. For their, this is everyone.
Billions of people.
Billions
of souls.
Billions of souls. And no one who ever teaches or preaches this should say that with any flippantness or arrogance. That is the most sobering thought of where you are in your generation, that you have the good news to share with people so that they are not part of this. This is what should motivate us. Like I said, this is the most sobering chapter as we get to the final verses of this.
This is not a trial. Like, you don't get to plead.
Yes, correct.
You're not pleading, oh, here's the facts. This is the sentencing.
This is judgment.
Yeah.
So you have a trial where there's are you guilty or not guilty, and then you have a trial that determines your punishment.
Yeah.
This is that. All right.
Yeah. You're either in the book or you're not in the book.
Right.
Yeah.
Salvation is by faith. All right. But judgment is by your works, and that's what. Salvation is already, you haven't accepted Christ. So now it's a judgment by your works, what you did in your life, to determine a degree of punishment that you're going to receive. I truly believe there are degrees of punishment within eternity. And we're going to see that. So it says the books were open. You want to go into that?
Sure.
So what are these books? I mean, we know there's the book that's mentioned there at the book of life that's mentioned in verse 12. But it says the books were open, and another book was open, being the book which is the book of life. So we don't know what these other books are. There are some throughout the Bible that are mentioned. Did you look into those?
I just tried to remember them. I didn't really research them because
okay.
I don't know. I didn't.
That's all right. I'm just asking.
No, I'm saying I don't know if the books that you're about to say are those actually the books.
And we don't know. Yeah.
So
what I'm saying are just ones that we know mentioned in the Bible.
Yeah.
So if anyone comes and says, "Oh, this is definitely it," they don't know. There's no way. But there's one called the Book of Remembrance, or Book of Deeds. This records our deeds, our words, our thoughts. You can look at Ecclesiastes 12:14, Matthew 12:36. But I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned. Malachi, he actually says the term. In 3:16 he says, Then they that feared the Lord spake often one to another, and the Lord hearkened and heard it, and a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared the Lord, and thought upon his name. All right, so we know that book maybe that talks about our deeds.
That would make sense.
Yeah. Then obviously there's, I think this one for sure, the book of the law, because that's the standard by which, we are judged. The God's standard that for as many as have sinned without the law, that's the God's law, shall also perish without the law, and as many as have sinned in the law shall be judged by the law. So it seems that would be there.
I heard this is off topic a little bit, but not really. The book of the law, or just works, and like how the book of the law is like the mirror.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yes.
The book of the law is the mirror, and if you were to try and wash yourself with the law, it's like you're trying to take a shower by rubbing the mirror on. That visual just stuck with me.
I had heard it where like you saw the smudge on your like your face, and you were rubbing the mirror trying to. Yeah, it's like it's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Another possible book is people call the Book of Conscience, the witness of our own hearts. Romans 2:15, which show the work of the law written in their hearts, their conscience also bearing witness, and their thoughts the meanwhile accusing or else excusing one another. In the day when God shall judge the secrets of men by Jesus Christ according to my gospel. So, nothing is hid. Nothing is secret in our life. Everything's going to be manifested. Christ says that over and over again. So every secret, every motive, our deeds, our thoughts, those that are lost. So these are possible books. Does this make a big difference? No, it doesn't. The big one is another book was opened, which is the book of life.
Yeah, we know that one's open.
Yes, we know specifically what that book is. Paul mentions it. It's mentioned in Revelation some 4 times, and this is the most important book. It contains every name of anyone that's been redeemed, and it is the ultimate determination of your eternal destiny. Have you accepted Christ? Philippians 4:3, and I entreat thee also, true yoke fellow, help those women which are labored with me against the gospel, with Clement also, with all my fellow laborers, whose names are in the book of life. In Revelation 13, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are, this is talking about the end, whose names are not written in the book of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. This is talking about how they shall worship. 17:8 talks about that as well. So this is the book of life at the judgment of the wicked, and it determines God's perfect judgment. No one has an excuse at this point.
Yep.
And then it says that they're judged according to their works at the end of verse 13.
Also says it after 12. It says
yes, yeah, thank you.
According to their works, and then every man according to their works again, and those two. So, the man, the repeated phrase there made me think, to their works they relied on themselves and their works, and through that they are judged and sentenced.
Oh, that's good.
And
I like that.
Even though what really mattered is if they humbled themselves before Christ and accepted him.
Yeah, so they're not saved by their works. In fact, quite the opposite. They're condemned
judged,
by their works. Yeah. Their works prove that they're sinners. It confirms they deserve the judgment. Therefore, by their deeds of the law, there shall no flesh be justified in his sight, for by the law is the knowledge of sin, just like you were saying before. So another question that came up as I was studying for this, why, you think about this, why judge by works if someone is already condemned? And I already because it would only make sense to do that if there were levels or degrees of punishment. We look at someone like a Hitler or, child molester or something like that, and it's obvious, And then we also look at someone that, grew up in the jungle of the Amazon, and yes, they sinned, and yes, they were shown a creator that they could have responded to the light, but yet they didn't respond. They're still sinners, and God gave them light and opportunity. And so they're, in our mind, it just doesn't seem like that person should be given a punishment. But God does give levels of punishment. He tells us there's none righteous, no, not one. So we see here, I believe, based on parables, based on different things that we see written in the Word of God, that there is this judgment that gives degrees of punishment along the way. Not everyone agrees with me on that, but all are condemned, but the intensity of that punishment varies. I believe seen in the Word of God. So the next, it says, the sea gave up the dead, and then later on, death and hell delivered up the dead. So what's going on here? So just as before when we talked about our spirit and then our body, the same thing here. Death holds the bodies. Hades, or hell, holds the soul that has to be brought up. So this is talking about both the physical and the spiritual. And now this is really profound if you look. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. So it's more than just the people that are in them. They actually have no use anymore. Death has no more use, and hell has no more use. Think of that. Time has no more use. It doesn't tell us that, but I mean, this is the end of time on earth, and now we see both death and hell have no more use. They were temporary. They were for a temporary purpose of right now, and now the final judgment of the wicked. There's no need for them anymore. That's sort of cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there won't be any more death after this, and the lost are placed into the lake of fire. Death and hell, they lose their function. The last enemy shall be destroyed is death. 1 Corinthians 5:26 tells us.
Just how there's a second life for us with heaven, and there's the opposite of the second death there.
Yes. This is the second death. If you want a verse to use when you're witnessing to folks, verse 14, I use this one often when I talk about, the second death. And I always say, we're all going to die physically someday, but we're also going to die spiritually someday if we don't know Jesus Christ. And I'll go to this verse where it says, this is the second death. And, this is... the first death is physical, the second death being this eternal separation from God. And honestly, that is one of the most sobering lines I know I keep using that word, in the Bible. But it is one that, to mention again, this is eternal separation from God. And what if they rejected God, they didn't want him in the first place? Well, you don't want to be in this. I mean, this is eternal punishment. And it tells us then in verse 15, whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. And if you're watching this today and you're like, who are these crazy two dudes sitting at a table talking to each other? We're here because of that verse.
Yep.
We don't want you to be in that eternal punishment. For whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. You don't have to go there. You don't have to be there. And if you will humble your heart and believe in Jesus Christ, that he died in your place, you can escape that loss there. For by grace are you saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it is the gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast. I like what, after John 3:16, you get to verse 18, it says, he that believeth on him, Jesus Christ, is not condemned, but he that believeth not is condemned already. if you've never accepted Jesus Christ as your Savior, you're condemned already because of just being mankind, humanity. We are born in sin, and we live in sin. And if we don't believe in Jesus Christ, that gift God gave us, we will go to this lake of fire someday. And I hope you won't do that. I hope you'll bow your head and ask Jesus Christ to save you, and He will. He promises us He will. For whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. And if you do that, please reach out to us. We want to talk to you and help you on your walk with the Lord.
So I feel a little wrong doing a joke after that.
I think it's good. We need to lighten the mood with this. And
all right, I got a dad joke
right.
from Steve Chambers.
Okay.
He's got good ones.
He's got a calendar, I think, with his or something.
Yeah, I don't know if he right. I don't know. He sends the
All right.
He sends the picture of it, so I don't know if he writes it or.
Very good.
Yeah. So what do you call having your grandmother on speed dial?
What?
Instagram. That one got me. Yeah, I like that one, Steve.
All right, very good. Well, hopefully this was clear enough today, and we didn't jumble things around. But join us next week. We'll be in chapter 21. Love you guys. Have a good week. Bye.